Welcome to Frickin' History, and today we're looking at AP U.S. history, and we're looking at Unit 6, giving you the large overview. Big bad business taking everything over. So remember, if you need a 3, a 4, or a 5 on your APUSH, AP Euro, or AP World exam, give me a follow. So in Unit 6, we're going to start with westward expansion. It grows economically because of railroads, but also there's a little bit of rub between the displacement of the Native Americans as for building those railroads and the continued people moving west. While people were expanding west, there was also the South, which was changing in some ways in manufacturing and in industry, but very much the same with Plessy versus Ferguson and the idea of sharecropping for a lot of African Americans. But then with new industry, with new technology, it was the rise of big business. Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller creating the steel and the oil industries that boomed the economy here in the United States. But were they captains of industry, making things better, or were they robber barons, taking advantage of the workers with low wages to create more profit for themselves? So where did those workers come from? Immigration, my friend. We had old and new immigration that happened, 1840s, 50s through about early 1900s. Now that pushes labor to be plentiful, which means wages go down, which is great if you own a business. But you know what else rose? Nativism. Because we can't have all the immigrants coming in, right? Which led eventually to the resistance of the immigrants coming in, resulting in things like the Chinese Exclusion Act. However, because of immigration and the amount of workers and leading to these businesses having very poor working conditions and low wages, what comes out of that is labor unions. Know about the Knights of Labor. We'll talk about that in other videos. But immigrants needed help in getting these jobs in some cases. So this is where these political machines come in. So Tammany Hall and Boss Tweed, we'll help you get a job and we'll help take care of you, except you're going to vote the way we want to, led to lots of corruption. Now, all these things in big business weren't all bad. Because of these very large industries like Carnegie Steel, et cetera, they created middle management, which created a whole new middle class society. Now, social classes are changing in the U.S. When social class changes, gives you more leisure time, that's where you have things like Coney Island, amusement parks. That starts to come of age during this time period. However, with all this big business, there's some reform that's needed. This is where the gospel of wealth coming from Carnegie, it was the idea of these large business owners becoming philanthropic, giving back, building libraries, universities, museums. However, because labor was not being taken care of in a way, a lot of people turned towards more socialistic ideas, and that's the ideas of Eugene Debs, protecting workers' rights against the owners. And they were also looking at the rise of temperance. So Carrie Nation out there was not allowed, they didn't want the men to go out there and drink their paychecks away because that was bad for society. And people started thinking about the government. What's the role of the government during this time period, 1877 to 1898? Imperialism is one of them. Let's look at the annexation of Alaska and Hawaii. That's going to be talked about. It was the questioning of laissez-faire economics, right? And so during this time period, you got the Sherman Antitrust Act that was passed. And because of the rise of these social ideas, social safety nets started coming into play. How should we help them out? The Hull House, right? These settlement houses, helping immigrants acclimate and assimilate into society. So that's a big time overview of Unit 6, all right? We're going to go more into depth into individual sections, so be looking for those. And if you're looking for a 3, a 4, or a 5 on your AP exam, I'm the guy to see. Until next time, peace.